Hello community, in the last video we discussed the Trinity pack, what it offers you and if it's worth getting or not. Today we're doing something very similar, but this time it's for the Sarajevo Six. Now this, unlike the Trinity pack, is a piece of content we haven't seen in many years. It was designed originally as a PlayStation exclusive, and although it has appeared as a mod in the past, this is the first official release we've gotten on PC and modern hardware. It's been 7 years between the PlayStation exclusive release and the port to PC. Even Spider-Man PS4 didn't take that long. Still, it's here and it's gonna cost you $5 to get a hold of. So, the question has to be asked, is it worth it or not? Well, in order to answer that question, we'll have to look through the content it gives you, starting with the director, taking place in Paris. Taking place in the attic, heavily surrounded by guards, this isn't the easiest of missions. It's possible, don't get me wrong, but your options in that attic are very limited. That being said, you do have some options. If you knock out Sebastian Sado, the target will start to make his way down the stairs, the inside stairs, which are almost empty of people. He will have a bodyguard with him, but still, it does give you a very decent chance to isolate and eliminate him. He makes his way into the basement security room. Quite a few opportunities for kills are present also there, so it is very doable that way as well. Overall, this target, though limited, has some options to him. It's not a horrid target by any means. Difficult, but definitely possible in more ways than one. I would give him a 6 out of 10 as far as the rating is concerned, and move on to the next one, which is the Enforcer of Sapienza. This target is ridiculously easy, tutorial level easy. One coin distraction and he's good as dead. Or you can just wait for him to walk under the stalagmite and shoot it down on top of him. Or just wait for him to enter the security room and kill him there. So many easy ways to deal with a target aren't a bad thing necessarily, but at the same time, it really does feel overwhelmingly easy. The RNG elements of his loop do somewhat make up for that, however, as you never know where he'll be at a given moment. Plus, the lab is a pretty tricky place to maneuver and get silent takedowns, so even though the target's easy, the environment is anything but. So you know what? Just because I know what's awaiting us in both Bangkok and Colorado, I'm gonna be generous and give it a 7 out of 10. It's quite easy, sure, but at least the RNG loop with the difficult environment can make up for that a little bit. And because there's so many different killing opportunities, it's not like you ever get bored with him anyways. It's an easy target, but it's fun nonetheless. From there, we have to move on to Marrakesh and the Extractor. This for me is a perfect example of how a badly made map can fail a target. And here's what I mean by that. If you're able to get a straight look onto the Extractor, he will make a phone call that will result in him leaving the room and heading off to the bathroom area, a place where he can easily be isolated and eliminated in multiple different ways. However, in order to get a look at him, you need to look through the peephole on the right side of the room. The only problem is the staircase you need to take in order to get to it is blocked by a bookshelf. You can scale it down, but not up, meaning that you have to make your way all around the school area just to get the phone call to pop. It's simply idiotic in the way that it's created. They could have and should have removed the blockade. It never made any sense in the first place. You have an overly restricted school area which is almost impossible to maneuver, so you're gonna block one of the main entries into it. It's horrifically stupid design flaw. That has been a problem with Marrakesh for years, and here it's clear as ever. On the other hand, you can cause the evacuation for Strandberg, which will cause the target to head downstairs, but he will have Zaydan and his bodyguard with him, so you won't really have any proper assassination opportunities. This target is possible both with fiberwire as well as sniper rifle, suit only. However, the design of the school zone in combination with the horrid loop and RNG make up for a really frustrating experience. You do have some options and possibilities to deal with him, but you can't help but feel limited every time you do. It's a 4 out of 10 for me, slightly below average for a target that in my opinion many people would struggle with either way they choose to go. From there, we have to go to Bangkok for the Veteran. I don't want to go there, it's just that that's the next thing on the list. Talking about going from the penthouse to the Hawk House, it doesn't get any more true than this one. The Veteran's loop is completely random, and outside of the coconut kill, he will always be out in public, and planning any type of a kill is impossible because, like I said earlier, his loop is RNG. There's no way to prepare ahead of time. Most Hitman creators just blow him up with a propane flask. On the other hand, I came up with a genius strategy you see on screen, but make no mistake about it, this target is absolutely awful. Just because I was able to come up with an easy way to take him down doesn't make him good. I'm the only Hitman creator who's able to come up with this route, and it's really that difficult. It's an absolute garbage target every way you look at it. Almost no opportunity for assassination unless you use a Seeker or a Medic briefcase, which didn't exist back in Hitman 2016. It has no redeeming qualities besides the coconut kill, which is why it earns the glamorous score of a 1 out of 10. When you make a target that has literally no way to be isolated whatsoever and is completely RNG on the loop, that is a recipe for a disaster, and there's no clearer of a showcase than this mission in Bangkok. And from the Hawk House to the Whore House, we're off to Colorado. Possibly the hardest mission we've ever had, or up there for sure. The Mercenary is programmed to stalk you and follow you into whatever location you may be hiding in. The way they've created this target is extremely unreliable, as he will get stuck on certain places or leave the room if you do so as well, or hide in a closet. He won't get stuck for long, but you will have to wait quite a bit. Not to mention, he likes to bring his 4 mercenary friends alongside him, and they can follow your exact location as well. If you beat him in the method I've shown you, you should be able to isolate him. However, this is one of those targets where the lack of saves becomes even more annoying. The way they've routed him, it's impossible to lure him with either coins or a peekaboo technique. It simply doesn't work on him. 2016 was a year IO did a lot of experimentations. Some of them were successful, but most of them were half-baked ideas that were executed rather poorly and never came back. The breakaway walls that were started in Sapienza, the electronic doors requiring disguises in Hokkaido, and these particular targets. I don't know what the creator of this mission got, but it should have been a 3 to 5 mandatory. It's simply a horrid mission that is more of a pain in the ass than any actual enjoyment. I'm rating it at a 2 out of 10. Still, better than Bangkok for sure, as at least you have some options, but it's very far from what I would consider to be even remotely decent. And finally, for the very last mission, we have the Controller in Hokkaido. For me personally, this is a pretty good mission. You have 2 objectives on your hand, and they both can be achieved suit only, with or without a loadout. Of course, having a stationary target isn't great, but there are ways to deal with him, and the objective isn't extremely difficult to get either, as long as you're smart about your movements. Hokkaido is a tough map, no doubt about it. The tight corridors, overfilled with guards and NPCs, can be difficult to maneuver at times, and you have to do quite a bit of that for sure. Yet I found it to be quite a bit of fun, really. Maybe it's just that the bar was so low after Bangkok and Colorado that for some reason I was looking forward to Hokkaido, but I can't say I didn't enjoy myself, that's for sure. Overall, I would gladly give Hokkaido and the Controller a 6 out of 10. It was slightly above average. I think as long as you take your time with it, you can definitely have some fun with this particular mission. Overall, these are my ratings for all of the Sarajevo Six missions/targets, but there is more. All of these missions come with extensive cinematics as well as original dialogue from both Diana and every single one of the targets themselves. There's some serious meat to this bone, which is good, unless you're a vegan, I guess. Anyways, the lack of saves is definitely annoying, I won't lie about that. However, the fact of the matter is, you are definitely getting your money's worth in my opinion. I mean, sure, I would have loved if it was free, especially now that Hitman 3 is well into its final chapter. But for $5, getting 6 bonus missions, all with cinematics and dialogue, I think is a pretty fair deal. I had to grind through all of these missions and make guides for them in order to be able to evaluate them properly, and that wasn't easy nor fast. So, if you enjoyed my review, a like and subscribe would be greatly appreciated. Yes, there are some things I would have liked to see done better, but again, these missions are from 2016. Now, whether they're worth buying for you will depend entirely on how much you like Hitman, as well as your budget and interest in future games. That being said, we've come to the end of this review. I hope I've been able to give you some good points to consider, and until we meet again, thank you very much for watching.